Oh wait, gotta find the right screen. There it is. Oh my goodness. Okay. Yep. Well, hello everyone. This is Cassandra Williamson coming to you from a holler in eastern Kentucky, specifically in Hardy, Kentucky, in Pike County, near the West Virginia and Virginia borders. Really, not too far from either one. Closer to West Virginia, though. But anyway, so we have a lot I want to talk about today. The first one is, do you know of a person by the name of Attorney General Andrew Bailey? Andrew Bailey is the Attorney General for the state of Missouri. This is the man I'm talking about right here. Just think of that flag there as the trans pride flag. He's been targeting trans people for a long time now, ever since he took over position as the Attorney General for Missouri. But that's not I've sent letters to him. I've tried to talk with him. I've asked to have a conversation with him, but he refuses to talk to a transgender person because I don't think he thinks we have any kind of value or input that he's wanting to consider or listen to or be infected by, I think is what he primarily thinks that we're going to do. We're going to go ahead and infect him. If we give him a big hug, I think he thinks that maybe he'll catch this thing that's called trans. I wouldn't wish this on anybody because it's not easy being a person like me in America today or in the world, really, because it's just the screws are tightening against it. And Andrew Bailey, that person right there, he loves the idea of attacking trans people and trying to shove them into the closet. He has proposed rule after rule, policy after policy that would strip transgender people of all health care, regardless of age, in the state of Missouri. They were stopped in the courts, yes, but here's the thing. The federal government is working towards enforcing that same kind of thing. They put out policy statements like the carrier letter I talked about yesterday, where they are taking away the health care for federal employees who happen to be transgender, regardless of age. That gives the states the right to be able to do. They've got cover now. They've got precedent now. Whenever they see this, they can say, well, the feds are doing it. We have to just follow the feds, right? So whenever they go back to court over these kind of things, they're going to be pulling up what the federal government is doing under Trump. So what's going on with Andrew Bailey? Why am I talking about him today? Well, guess where he is moving to? He is resigning as the Attorney General of Missouri to take on another job. He's going to be a co-deputy director or something like that within the FBI. He has been asked and he has accepted to take on a role within the FBI. This person he's got a fetish for trans people. I mean, he really does. I can't imagine any other people who would be as so strongly opposed to trans people's right to exist freely in the country, especially for those of us who have served, and all Americans who are trans, period, regardless. From children all the way up through, I don't know, I've got some trans friends who are in their mid-80s, actually upper 80s now. And I've met some of these people around the country. I've met them. Have a good friend in Long Beach, California. Met them at their home. Who back then, 3 years ago, let me see. So now she's probably 88 or 89, if she's still living. I haven't spoken to her in about 6 months. But we're around. And this person, Andrew Bailey, this nut job right there, wants to shred everything that has to do with trans people. Now, obviously, he's not going to stop with that. He's going to go after everything. But he's moving over to the FBI and bringing his ignorance with him. He thinks he's right. He thinks he is saving the sinner from the sin. That's Andrew Bailey, another Christian nationalist, folks. They're filling up the federal government and every agency all over the darn place. It's getting to be dangerous to be a trans person in this country. Dangerous. But I will, on overall, not it down to the granular level. I've got friends in Michigan. I myself, we live in kind of smaller communities, and I live in a really small, like a hee-haw town. You hold the sign up, it says population 200. Well, there might be 500. I don't know. Here, party maybe 6. I doubt it. That's stretching it. But we're everywhere, and I don't have those problems here because people just let live, and that's the way it should be, right? Why on earth do you think you have a right to tell me that I can't live as myself as long as I'm not causing violence or harm to anyone? Fine. Now, let me just say, there are some in every community in the country and every demographic who are definitely on the edge of stupid, even in this one. We consist of people too. So every population, every demographic's got the crazies in there. And yeah, I know that. But for the most part, and I mean like 99% or more, well, no, we just want to live and let live. Leave us alone. But Andrew Bailey wants to put a bullseye on our head. Now he's moving over to FBI where he can actually do it even more so on a national level. He's taking his anti-trans thinking to the FBI. He was invited to come and he accepted. And he's very appreciative of President Trump and AG Pam Bondi for asking him to come over there. So they are building a cadre of people within the FBI and in the federal government who strongly oppose the existence of trans people. So what are you going to do about that? What can we do about it? Well, my friend from Michigan sent this to me this morning. This is from Advocates for Transgender or Trans Equality. A4TE, okay? Advocates for Trans Equality. They've been around a long time. They've been around probably, I'm going to say 24, 25 years maybe, or longer. Yeah, maybe 26 or 27 years. They've been around a while. They were under a different name. But they're the ones who put out the surveys. Every 5-6 years as well. Let me see. They did one like 2015, and then they did another one in 2022. Massive surveys surveying transgender Americans, including transgender veterans and service members, anyone in the country who happens to be an American, regardless of where they're living, like if they live in Puerto Rico or the Solomon Islands or on a military base overseas. It surveyed them. There were like 120. Well, I think overall it was like about 100,000. By the time they cleaned it up, they had 96,000 or something. I think those are the numbers. It was around there somewhere. Respondents to this thing, almost 100,000 respondents, trans Americans who responded to that survey. That's Advocates for Trans Equality. This particular image is from, I don't know, I think it might be Facebook or something like that. Not sure. Anyway, so it says earlier this month, the Massachusetts governor, Maura Healey, signed a bill to safeguard patients seeking reproductive and gender-affirming care. And that's from Advocates for Trans Equality. And we applaud the Massachusetts-based advocates and providers who made this happen. That's from the Boston Globe, the Boston.com article. Is Haley just signed a law expanding reproductive and transgender care. And I just want to say that there are not very many of those states in this country. And hearing from Pam Bondi, the Attorney General for the United States, we're beginning to realize that she doesn't really care about states' rights. If the state is not doing what the federal government wants them to do, they will take away the funding, and they've shown they will do that. That is not an empty threat. So if there are hospitals in Massachusetts that are receiving funding from the federal government for any aspect of their operations, if there are any university medical systems or universities, period, in Boston or in Massachusetts receiving federal funding, they can jerk the funding back in order to persuade that state to go the way they want it to go. It may be safe now, and this law may be a law in Massachusetts, but I'm going to tell you, they're gunning for all of them, and they don't care what the states say. they're going to go after them. Just look at California. The University of California at, what is it? USC? Los Angeles, okay? LA. The big university system there. Anyway, so the funding for the trans care centers there were pulled. And then the university system shut down their systems and tried to keep it going in a different direction. So they're trying to push back against it. But I'm going to tell you, when you take away a big pot of gold that the federal government controls, and all of the medical centers, the hospitals, the clinics, and the university systems, and any other program that you have within your state that receives federal funding, if they could they can take the money away from it, and those states would not be able to continue operating those programs, no matter what the law says. So basically, no matter where you go in this country, if Pam Bondi and Trump want to stymie anything to do with trans people, and AG Andrew Bailey, former AG Andrew Bailey of Missouri, now with the FBI, if they all decide that they want to just go after any state, any city, any organization, then they will. Now, why did I throw in organization? Because they've made it clear that any organization that receives its licensure or any kind of operating license from the federal government, they intend to start investigating them to see if they're applying by the non-discrimination law as they interpret it. So all those organizations out there, the nonprofits that are associated with specific groups, you need to start preparing. I don't know when they will come for you. I don't know when they will start pulling charters and pulling your 501c3 status or 501 whatever. There's other ones too. So they're going to come after all of those things. They're doing everything they can to shut down anything that has to do with transgender people. They will shut it down in this country. They're doing it at the United Nations. Why do you think they will not do it within the nonprofit and the IRS systems? Better get ready, folks. These people are seriously demented. They think that they have a right to destroy their fellow human beings just because they don't look like them, live like them, love like them, think like them, believe like them. Any of it. All you have to do is also go over on Twitter and you can find anything you want to find over there. Let's say you go with Charlie Kirk, for instance, Turning Point USA, founder, co-founder, whatever he is, an idiot. He's a smart idiot, okay, but he's still dumb as a bucket of rocks. All right, so we have Charlie Kirk over there asking, what does it mean to be an American? How does one become an American? Well, that's an easy answer. It's in the 14th Amendment. It specifically outlines exactly how one can become an American. It says you were born here or naturalized here. That's it. It says nothing in there about your ideologies, your belief, your work ethic, your sense of morality, or any of those things. It has no qualifiers. None. None whatsoever. To become a naturalized citizen of the United States. If you're born here, that's an automatic given. Except that birthright citizenship is being challenged now too by this administration because, you know, they want to make sure they don't have any of those foreign people here that they don't like. That's what it amounts to. So here we go. If you think it's safe, you can go right on up to Massachusetts and be safe for a little while. But these people in the federal government, they don't care about states' rights. I've been saying that for a while now, quite a long while, actually. They don't care about states' rights. They view the federal government as a vehicle to accomplish their ideological goals by claiming the other ideologies and all the other ways of thinking are not American. We are. Period. Well, I've got a lot of stuff I need to be doing today. Let me get over here to this, and I just want to remind you about this one right here. This person is and he is rejoicing every moment. He loves attacking trans people. Really does. And this is an AI generated image, okay? Just so you know, if you didn't figure that out already, but that's an AI generated image, okay? And then I want to leave you with this one as I close out for the day, and I'll see you at 6.